So what's up people and welcome to another Alita Battle Angel video. This one is just a impromptu thing because it is October 31st and I did have the fortune of going to see the theatrical re-release of Alita Battle Angel yesterday at my local AMC theater. And since many of you are also Battle Angel Alita Battle Angel fans and probably want to hear about everybody else's theater experience, I enjoyed it a lot. I went to the 7:30 showing on a Friday, so I would expect that it's a relatively high probability of people coming. But I mean, it is a re-release, so I'm not sure how many people will come see this. But there were people there. There were about 7 people there. I'm not sure if that's high or low for re-release during during this very traumatic times these days. But there were about 7 people. I thought that I would be the only one for a while, and then in the last 5 minutes before the movie started, about 7 people showed up, including one child, which was maybe about 8 years old or so. I was like, wow, you're coming to see a Alita Battle Angel movie, eh? You know, and I guess it was a lone dad, so he wanted to see the movie so much, and maybe he was babysitting the kid, and so he found it to be an opportunity to come see the movie, and he had to bring his kid to do so. I was a little bit worried, but there was nothing to worry about because the kids seemed to have enjoyed the movie. And he asked, I remember his cry of glee when Grushka was sliced in two at the very end of the movie. And so, good job, kid. You enjoyed the movie. And I bet it will be a memorable experience in your childhood memories when you grow up. Any case, some of the things with regards to the re-release. I know many of you already know this, but Robert Rodriguez did bring out a whole new poster for the re-release. And it's a very nice looking poster. And one thing I found out about this when I saw looked at the close-up, which I have on the background here, is Alita's Damascus blade. It has a very intricate pattern. It has some very metallic, the unusual, you might call them grain boundaries at the edges of the Damascus blade, which is interesting because of the fact that you wouldn't expect that from what they call a monocrystal, right? A mono element edge, right? You would think that they would have made it out of a single crystal of whatever material that they were working with. But I'm not going to go there. It looks really nice. But the thing that really intrigued me when I saw it up close is the electric circuit patterns at the middle of the blade. And it's beautiful. But the question is what is the function of these electric circuits? Of course, circuit paths are there to be pathways to electric current. And the question is what sort of electric current is there? Now, you could always say that these are the current paths as a guide to bring the plasma down the edge of the length of the blade. Except that if you remember from the resurrection of Alita, after she got her berserker body, the plasma charge that she had was more of a thermal plasma than electrical plasma. It looked more like something out of a gas, ignited, high temperature ignited gas. But I mean, maybe there will be electrical charges in there if it's charged ions that are being condensed into a plasma. Then you may be able to run it through the blade, and as such maybe it is used as a waveguide. I'm not sure. I mean, not a waveguide, a charge guide, a current guide. But in any case, it is beautiful, and it is nice to see that blade up close. But in any case, I enjoyed the movie a lot. I wasn't sure because I watched the DVD so many times that I wasn't sure if this was going to be special, but it is different when you do see it in a big screen versus what you have at home. I mean, I don't particularly have a large screen TV at home, and so it was nice to see it on the big screen again. And when everything else is dark and silent because there's only 7 people in the theater, then you do notice things a lot more. One of the things that I realized is just how well Robert Rodriguez directed and Rosa Salazar portrayed Alita. And of course, you've heard about this a lot, right? People will say, whoever played Alita did such a wonderful job because they brought out such warmth and empathy to a character that's supposed to be, metal, mostly metal gears, right? But I'm not talking about her warmth. That's something that I noticed the first time I saw this. I'm talking about her sheer bloodlust and, how should I call it? Killing intent, right? When you see Alita wake up, of course, you see a lot of her warm side. And a lot of people enjoyed the interactions that you see between forlorn Alita, who doesn't have her memory, and Dyson Nito, who's trying to help her and support her out of her, sad times, right? Bring her out of her sadness. Now, of course, as she transitions, she becomes this outgoing, very warm person, and I think a lot of people like that. But there was that one point, and this is where I did start noticing this, is right after Tanji, of course, takes Alita out during the scrimmage, right, out of the motorball, the street motorball. Yeah, Hugo comes to try to help her up, and Alita is like, no, I don't need your help. And this is, of course, the big first time. It's like, yeah, of course, because she's a Panzerkunst practitioner. She is strong enough to get up by herself. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that she immediately beelined and targeted Tanji, right? And possibly it could have been out of anger. But in any case, much of that was a very surprising change, right? You could have always said, no, I'm perfectly fine. And she would get up and she would actually go through her Panzerkunst and take the ball as is. But there's this passionate rage in her eye when she gets up at that time. And if you were a cold, calculating mercenary, then you wouldn't just have that passionate rage. You would target the person, but you would literally take them out without thinking a second thought about how should I say it, personality or feelings to that person. But in Alita's case, there was this really almost a blood boiling anger at Tanji. And if you know Alita from the comic, that makes perfect sense, right? Because of the fact that Alita is not Gelda. Alita isn't a person who can focus and immediately, without putting too much of a feeling into her battles, go out and do her mission. She's always passionate about the things that she does. And there is this almost crazy bloodlust that she has when she goes all out in rage. And you saw that right at that point. And thank God for Tanji that she was maybe holding back because this was in front of Hugo, this was in front of the other people. Maybe she wasn't really into that, her character yet, because of the fact that if it was the true Alita, the Alita that we know, Tanji would have been ripped to shreds, right? He would have lost both arms, both legs, and potentially his head when Alita went to take that ball back. Because when Alita goes into rage mode, there is not much left of the person she's targeting, right? And so this rage was a very characteristic of Alita. If you didn't read the comic, you might find it very unusual, even if she was a cold, calculating mercenary, why she's so passionately angry at this person. But that's how Alita is, right? Alita isn't the cold, calculating mercenary. She's the bloodlust, angry, chaotic mercenary, right? And so this turns out to be very good. You see that in other areas, such as in the time when she was fighting Gruishka in the back alley, and of course that facial expression that she had when Gruishka finally got away and said he'll be back. And that was a facial expression of sheer craziness almost. Once again, a tremendous amount of bloodlust and adrenaline you could see pumping through her when she's looking at me. And that is, again, very much like the Alita that you see in rage mode, right? And so all of these points you may not realize if you don't see the book because of the fact, or read the book, or read the comic, I should say, is you don't realize just how much of a bloodlust Alita can have during her battle times or angry times, or when she does have her killing intent released, right? And then she could immediately turn back. And for people who know the conflict or the contrast between the young Yoko character, who's extremely soft, which is what Alita portrays when she's talking with Dyson Needle in the beginning, and of course her memory is gone, so she probably does revert back to her original state, right? Not even the state of when she was a Panzerkunst practitioner, but the state of when she was young Yoko, right? Who was kind of limping along with Erica. But of course, as that bloodlust comes back, even if she didn't have her memory back, you could understand that her characteristic will slowly, continuously go towards the Yoko prior to ending up in the junkyard, right? The Grunthal mercenary. I don't know if she will be in the cinematic universe, but you know that she's at least the mercenary, right? And in either case, she is a very strong Panzerkunst practitioner. Or I would like to think so in the cinematic universe as well. And so if that is the characteristic, if the Alita in the cinematic universe has a very similar upbringing to the Alita in the comic verse, then that very unusual, almost a double personality that goes from a very soft side to an extremely passionately angry side is very well done by Rosa Salazar. I don't know if this was Rosa Salazar portraying it that way because she read the comic, which I know she did before the filming, or if it was Robert Rodriguez that did it that way, or if it was James Cameron who told Robert Rodriguez that this is the persona that is. But I hope that continues to go on because that is very well done. As we know, there will continue to be that persona that goes on, which gets very much challenged in the Zapan arc, which I still hope is what the sequel will be, because of the fact that Alita does conflict between her soft side that wants to protect Iron City versus the hard side that wants to confront the major antagonist that comes out in the Zapan arc, which I won't mention who it is due to the spoilers. Okay, so yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it really makes you understand why does Alita be able to take out Nisiana in a very hard manner. Why is Alita able to take out that what is it? That motorball guy who gets crushed to death, right? Without even batting a sweat, right? And this is one part that a lot of people found, I remember, as a debate in a lot of these comments, was that Alita is supposed to be this soft-hearted person, and there was this group of people who was like, yes, she is an angel, she is a battle angel, she's soft, she's a hero, she wants to do good. And then there's this other group that said, yeah, but she went out and basically murdered Vector in cold blood. And the debate was that murder or was that not murder? And to be honest, yeah, regardless of the reason, it is murder. But if you know what Alita is like from the comic, that makes perfect sense. Because of the fact that Alita is not a hero, right? Alita is not an angel. She may be a battle angel, but she ain't an angel of mercy all the time. She may be an angel not even of justice, but of vengeance, maybe even. She was trained to be a Panzer mercenary. And as a mercenary or as a soldier, you're not doing your actions based upon the morals that you do. You're basing your actions based upon the orders and the objective that you are trying to get to. If it wasn't for that, we would be questioning a lot of things that happen in the battlefield, because the things that happen in the battlefield are never ethically proper, right? That's why you have a battlefield in the first place. And the soldiers who go into that are respected because of the fact that it is an environment that is very questionable and very violent, and yet they will risk their lives because the mission requires them to do so. And considering the fact that Alita is one of the top Panzer mercenaries out there, she focuses on the objective. And whether the objective was given by a superior or the objective was given by her or made up by her, she will focus on that objective. For that objective, in the movie, she wanted to talk to Destinova, and depending upon the outcome, she would have killed Destinova or any of his henchmen. And so I think, once again, this is very well portrayed in the sense that, again, there's a lot of debate that's going on about a hero, whether a hero would do many of the acts that Alita does. But as we know, Alita may be an ethical person, Alita may be a kind person, but Alita is not a hero. She is a mercenary. She is a lone wolf in many ways. And just like a lot of lone wolves out there, such as maybe, Dirty Harry, or any of the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, they're not, morally bound to their actions. They are bound to their objectives, and she does those objectives very, very well. And so I thought, this movie portrayed Alita very well. I wasn't sure the first time I saw this with certain parts of the movie. But as we kept on talking about Alita and her persona and her upbringing, and then rewatched the movie on the big screen, it became more apparent that the Alita that came out on the big screen was very much representative of the Alita that you knew, who was raised in Mars, at least the way you see it in the comic verse. And for that alone, I thought that it was very much worthwhile to have gone to see this movie in the big screen. Anyway, did you get a chance to see Alita Battle Angel in the release? Or will you be going? I don't know if it's still on. Was it only a one-day thing or is it longer? But in any case, if you did go, please comment on how you felt about it. Did you see any new feelings or get any new revelations as you watched the movie? And I don't know about you, but the more I watch this thing, the more I do want to see a sequel. Not just because of the fact that you would like to see the comic story move on in a live action representation, but the other is that the more you watch it, the more intrigued you get by the cinematic Alita. She is very much like the comic Alita, and yet there's certain backgrounds where it's different, which makes you wonder, how did she become the similar sort of personality, despite many of the differences that you see in what her past is supposed to be like, right? From the fall, or all of the other information that you have, for example, from the novels and such. And so it is interesting to see how the cinematic Alita will be released, revealed, and whether the reveal will be very much like the character that you expected or from the comic verse. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Sorry for my blabbing on, but I did enjoy the movie once again. And if you went, I hope you did as well. But I'll continue to make more Alita Battle Angel Alita videos in the future. And I hope you join me at that time. Anyway, until the next video, happy movie watching. And as always, Jaya, nice day, everyone.